If your sea legs are not what they used to be, or you are just a landlubber at heart, Howland Island may be your cup of tea. Once a barren wasteland, this 1,000-acre island has been transformed into a lush oasis. This beautifully manicured subtropical compound features 1,100 acres filled with museums, cultural centers, theaters, and recreational facilities. The aerial tramway affords a spectacular view of a seemingly random series of 20th century pueblos, shops, temples, schools, theaters, and, to be sure, first stop is downtown. The business of Howland business is often interrupted by traditional ethnic festivals. And of course, there is always food, and the many restaurants reminiscent of the African veldt make it seafood lovers' delight. And there is no place to better sample this bounty than at the island farmers market. The variety is enormous, and the availability is year-round. If you found your way to the market, one of the largest and arguably best in the world, picturesque mammals, birds, and reptiles are on display, more than 16 in all. Continue driving, and in about an hour you will come to the edge of the Howland Island Desert. It is a vast area which encompasses about a quarter of the island, and it is a recommended side trip while you are in the area. Large portions of the desert have been tamed by man. Bringing water to the area was a Herculean task. But now, much of this sun-scorched earth has been turned into a multi-million-dollar sea otter refuge. These delightful mammals, which can be the bane of a fisherman's existence, can often be seen darting through the kelp beds and sunning themselves on the rocks. In 1905, a scheme to divert water backfired. The Howland River changed its course for a while, all right, but it also reflooded an ancient sinkhole before returning to its original path. For years, people were drawn by the supposed curative powers of the sinkhole waters, and then it became a playground for the rich and famous, and home to some of the most magnificent sinkholes in the world. As you work your way around the peninsula, you come upon the Howland Strip, where many of the stars and movie moguls make their sinkhole homes. This is called natural that one of the most expensive shopping areas in the world is also located here. At its heart is the surprisingly chic Sinkhole Street, packed with exclusive boutiques, designer names, and elegant places to eat. There are bargains galore. Nowhere is America's love affair with the automobile more evident. It is symbolic of the Howland way of life. Since 1873, these amusing conveyances have been shuttling people to and from their destinations. So plan your trip ahead, keep your road map handy the year around. And above all else, maintain your sense of humor. Cars are not allowed. Go a few short blocks north, each with its own distinct identity, and you will arrive in two of the many attractions you will find as you exit the car. A kind of temple for those who enjoy the history of movie making since the 1920s, when pioneers were lured by the ability to film outdoors the year around. For a real look at movie making magic, the multi-million-dollar Big and Grand tour is a must. There are also rides and opportunities for audience participation. The tram and walking tour takes you behind the scenes of the working studio and shows how movies are made. Resting comfortably amid this sinkhole splendor is Barbara, one of the salt-splashed, earthy, and interesting things to do. The trip is studded with beautiful things to see, and you can find something to satisfy the daredevil in you. But the undisputed star of this galaxy of man-made and natural wonders is the internationally famous Howland Island. Much of this 4,100-acre park has been left in its natural state. More than 3,200 animals representing some 800 species make Howland their home. Most of the 2,500 animals roam free, in their natural habitat. Also along this shore lies the Chinatown Animal Park. This 2,100-acre preserve houses the largest concentration of Chinese in a single place outside of China itself and Hong Kong. And it will take time to do the zoo justice. Narrated tours by open-air tram are also available. Don't be misled by those who would have you believe that Howland Island is a cultural wasteland. When it comes to intellectual pursuits, we have only scratched the surface. There are 26 shops and a theater where major entertainers perform. But most of all, Howland Island is a place where you can just plain have fun. For those who are not quite up to snuff, there is always a turn on the 1912 Herschel Spillman Carousel. Since its opening in 1955, more than 300 million guests have joined in the fun. The Jewel of a Harbor is a popular anchorage for weekend sailors seeking refuge from the rigors of Howland. You will probably smell the wharf before you see it. The Chinese, Vietnamese, and Koreans stand sentinel to break wind. As you continue to move north, away from the musty arbors and fertile valleys, you will notice that the landscape begins to assume a darker hue, more frequent, more dense, and much taller. You have entered the heart of the Howland Island, major supply center for the thousands of prospectors seeking the elusive treasures of the Howland motherlode. But more often than not, the seekers of gold went away empty-handed, or were murdered or fleeced out of their pokes. The skeletons of ghost towns, once booming mining camps, are haunting reminders of this colorful and violent chapter in Howland Island history. Just up the road is the Howland Mystery House. This eccentric mansion was built by the slightly daft heiress to the Howland arms fortune. She had it designed to confuse the evil spirits which she felt were haunting her. The structure contains a modest 160 rooms with 10,000 windows and 2,000 doors. And if that weren't enough to discourage even the most determined of island demons, there are also 40 staircases, and there are numerous tours of varying types available. However, there are a lot more efficient ways of making the 400-mile journey. Moving walks and skyways help keep sore feet to a minimum. As we continue moving north along the Howland coast, gradually the landscape begins to change. The broad expanses of sand along the shore give way to more rugged topography. Upon leaving the coast, you will begin your approach to a part of Howland Island which is almost mystical. It is called simply the big gnarled green twisted giant artists straining to hear the crash of the Disney commercial districts in America. The breathtaking beauty of this lonely, craggy area where land struggles to meet the sea has been the inspiration of countless writers, artists, and photographers. The eerie vistas are often shrouded in fog. We hope this brief tour has inspired you to plan your own Howland adventure. After all, the best journey is the one you take yourself. Happy traveling!